Hello everyone and welcome to the latest edition of the Raptor Report. I'm Michael Brown. Well, spring is finally here, which means it's time for baseball, softball, and track and field at MC. And we'll have a spring sports preview coming up later in the show. But we're going to get things started with a look back at the MC basketball season. It was full of ups and downs and twists and turns from the very first jump ball of the year. It was simultaneously dramatic, challenging, exhilarating, and frustrating. It was a season of streaks by both MC teams. So let's get started with our look back at the season that was, and we'll tip things off with women's basketball. Head coach Tarla Gasquet began her 8th season with Montgomery College, coming off a 2012-13 season that saw her team finish 5th in the nation after qualifying for nationals for the second straight season. But that was last year. This year's team looked a whole lot different. 12 new additions to be exact. And they were joined by just 3 returners, Megan Tillman, Angelica Ciccone, and Ashley Ladder. And to add to the degree of difficulty, Coach G, as is her custom, designed a killer early season schedule full of tough road games and higher division opponents. Now, she's done this every year she's run the program in hopes of toughening up her team early and also to send the message that NJCAA basketball is no walk in the park. So they began the season on the road in a tough tournament in Boston, and they took 2 of 3, including a win over Roxbury, who they'd lost to in the national championship tournament last year. But then their inexperience seemed to catch up to them as they played just .500 ball over the next 6 games. But that stretch did include a big win over D2 Passaic out of New Jersey and a convincing win over Nova on a big night at MC. The night the brand new MC Athletics mascot, the Raptor, was revealed. That victory began a Raptors run of 7 wins over their next 9 games, including tough road wins over Frederick and Garrett and an 85-58 thrashing of Howard. We talked with Coach G after that win, and she was reasonably happy, but far from satisfied.
One of the things I stressed to the ladies today that is we have to play MC ball. That was the theme today. Don't play to the other team's level, and I felt that we were a much better team and we needed to show it. So when we went in the second half, they knew I wasn't very happy with what was going on. They needed to execute better, and I think that's what we saw. They came in and started executing our plays the way they were supposed to.
So as the new year arrived, Coach G's young Raptors were 11-6 and had shown signs of playing the type of ball she expects. She was encouraged by the strong contributions from sophomore co-captains Ciccone and Tillman. And a core group of first-year young players were also starting to make their presence felt. Jabria Smith gave the Raptors speed, defense, and scoring. Nicole Cunningham was a low-post matchup headache and contributed consistent double-doubles. Kiana Daly was an outside threat, and super sub Kiera McEllery was giving them valuable defense and rebounding. But at the same time, Coach G was concerned about the team's inconsistency and on-court leadership. And once the calendar turned to 2014, those concerns magnified as the team hit a rough patch. They started off the year with 3 ugly losses, including an upset loss to Hagerstown and a thorough beating from Chesapeake. So Coach G does what she always does in those situations. She took a step back. She had team meetings, and she made some changes. The biggest move was handing the point guard duties to Kiana Daly, thus relieving Jabria Smith of the pressure of basketball's toughest position. Now, Smith still ran the offense for generous amounts of time, but the psychological effect of not actually being called point guard seemed to lift her game, and the rest of the team seemed to shake off the doldrums at the same time. After the loss to Chesapeake, the Raptors ripped off 7 straight wins, including blowouts of Dundalk and Anne Arundel and a big overtime win over D1 Baltimore on the road. During the streak, Ciccone and Tillman upped their games and were turning in double-doubles night after night. Cunningham seemed to be getting stronger and, importantly, was avoiding foul trouble. Smith was consistently filling up the stat sheet, and Daly was starting to become more consistent with the three. However, a knee injury to McEllery was the one ominous note heading into the postseason. The team felt her absence on the floor, and it also forced Coach G to play Cunningham more minutes than she would have liked. But at the same time, Amy Hart, who had not played much in the early part of the season, picked up more playing time and started making valuable contributions to help ease the loss of McEllery. Heading into the Maryland JUCO tournament, the Raptors were 17-9 and feeling much better about themselves. And in the first round, they met Anne Arundel again and demolished them 117-48 as 6 players went for double figures. Angelica Ciccone led the way with a career-high 38 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. Daly and Tillman each had 19, and Jabria Smith was stellar with 10 points, 8 assists, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals. In round 2 of the Maryland JUCO, they ran into a red-hot D1 Baltimore City team bent on revenge. And the Raptors fell behind early, never caught up, and they fell 79-50. But keep in mind that Maryland JUCO is D1, 2, and 3. So a loss there, while tough to swallow, did not derail their dreams of returning to the D3 National Championships. That was all there for them if they could take the Region 20 tournament and then the District G title. The Raptors were the number 1 seed entering the Region 20 tournament and were seeded into the finals. They took on longtime bitter rival Prince George's Community College, who had knocked off Westmoreland in round 1. During the regular season, the Raptors had knocked off the Owls by 4 in a tough road game. So here they were again, at PG, in front of a hostile crowd, taking on a fired-up Owls team. And the Owls came out hot, hitting threes and running the floor with abandon. The Raptors had no answer for PG point guard Tashiana Hill. She beat them down the floor regularly and torched them from 3. And it looked bleak for MC when Cunningham picked up 2 quick fouls and was on the bench for all but 5 minutes of the half. At the break, PG was up by 15, 47-32. But whatever Coach G said at the half seemed to light a fire into the Raptors as they came out from the break looking like a different team. The defense ignited the offense as their press forced turnover after turnover, which led to fast break hoops. The Raptors also took better care of the ball, and suddenly Hill had a hand in her face every time she shot the 3 ball. In no time, they cut into the Owls' lead and then finally caught them and then took a brief lead. From then on, it was a back-and-forth nail-biter. The teams traded the lead until Jabria Smith, Nicole Cunningham, and Angelica Ciccone took control in the last 5 minutes of the game to seal the comeback and give the Raptors their 3rd straight Region 20 title.
At halftime was like, okay, it's 15 points, it's not insurmountable. We're a better team. We need to play like it. We need to settle down, make good passes, play good defense, because defense always wins championships. That's why I keep telling them. The team that plays the best defense usually wins. So if you do that, we're fine.
Second half, I bring all that I had because I did not want to lose this game. We did not want to lose this game. We're going to Georgia.
After that rousing comeback win, the next step toward their ultimate goal was the District G title game on the road against West Georgia Technical College, the number 10 team in the NJCAA national rankings. MC got off to a solid start, frustrating the up-tempo Golden Knights by forcing a half-court game and holding a lead until late in the half. But when Jabria Smith picked up her 3rd foul and had to take a seat, West Georgia took advantage to lead by 5 at the half. The second half was all West Georgia. They forced the Raptors into a slew of turnovers, which led to fast break baskets as they built an insurmountable lead. Not even a dominating game from Nicole Cunningham could stem the tide, and when Jabria Smith went down with an ankle injury, the Raptors were out of answers. And their season came to a crashing halt, 87-63. That loss was tough to take, but when you look at the season with a little perspective, perhaps expectations were a little unrealistic to begin with. The team had just 3 returners from last year's Nationals team, and they added 12 new players. That's a lot of new players to mold into a cohesive team. And I think that goes a long way towards explaining the streaky nature of the season. But what should not be lost in the team's disappointment at not reaching their goal is that this team was 19-11. They won their 3rd straight Region 20 championship. They were 9-4 in the tough Maryland JUCO Conference, and they took home several postseason honors. Jabria Smith and Nicole Cunningham made the All-Region 20 first team. Angelica Saccone was also named Region 20 Tournament MVP. And Smith also made 2nd team All-Maryland JUCO, while Cunningham and Saccone honorable mention. So a fine year to be sure, and if all the freshmen on this year's team return next season, well, look out. And stick with us because we'll be right back with a live in-studio conversation with Raptors head coach Tarla Gasquet. You're watching The Raptor Report.